Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhakto Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Meditation today is such a popular spiritual discipline. And not only it is practiced for spiritual, in fact, it is practiced for non-spiritual purposes more than spiritual purpose. Spiritual purpose means it is practiced for the sake of realization. It's done with the idea of realization. Then anything that you do with that idea becomes spiritual effort, spiritual practice. So you perform action with the idea of realization, you are practicing karma yoga. Right? When you are practicing emotional transactions for the sake of realization, it is called as bhakti yoga. For the sake of realization, you are thinking, analyzing, reasoning. Then you are practicing jnana yoga. So any effort of yours converts itself into spiritual yoga. Otherwise, it is just karma. Otherwise, it is just jnana, knowledge. It is not jnana yoga. Similarly, dhyana yoga also can be called as a spiritual practice only if it is done with the idea of realization. But today, meditation is practiced for non-spiritual purposes, non-religious purpose. But it is such a popular thing. It is being done by everyone today. And that also we'll see the popularity of meditation is only in the last about 50 years. Before that, hardly anyone was talking about meditation. It's only last 50 years we have been talking about, not even 50 actually. To put it very strictly, I would say it's only about 30 and odd years. I don't remember, when I used to attend these lectures and all that, I don't remember anyone had told us, you should sit and meditate. We asked them, can we? They say, study first, they say. I thought I'm a student, so he was telling me to study, I thought, initially. Then he said, go to temple. Are you doing your, that everyday rituals? Are you doing those things properly first? Are you doing that on time? Get a discipline to do that on time, don't do off time and do prayaschitta for that, off time for doing late, So there is a prayaschitta we do for that because we have missed the timing. So he said, don't do all that. Try to avoid all those things. These are the advices being given. Go to that particular deities and all that. Hardly I've heard anyone, recommending that, do meditation as spiritual practice. But it gained, tremendous relevance today. Why? Remember, not because we are all became better in spiritual, so we have started taking up higher spiritual disciplines. It's not because of that. Then why is it? Because the modern life of humanity, the last over about 30 or odd years or 40, 50 years if you take, It's become so engaging. The modern life is so exciting, tremendous excitements. Like just look at the number of TV channels we have. You see, earlier we used to have only one TV channel, and then it came two was such a big thing. One regional and one national. That's all. That regional channel when that was introduced was such an excitement. And Friday evening, 8 o'clock, 8 to 8:30, they will have this volume. 5 movie songs they will play. That's all. In that half an hour, there's no ad breaks and all. There's no such thing in those days. 5 songs they will play. 5 movie songs they'll be playing. And you'll be waiting for that, Friday to watch. Amazing it is. So rare, nothing much. But today you look at that, you take one, language you take, you have so many channels. You say news, you have so many channels. Food you take, there are so many channels. And not to talk about social media. You see, you come to this YouTube or Instagram and Facebook, this, that, you have so many things constantly coming and bombarding us. You see, it's constantly kicking, stimulating. Life is so exciting and so stimulating. After a period of time, what happens? Too much of stimulation. And we have forgotten how to not to get excited. Just to be normal, relax. To go to sleep is a problem now. Right? Why? It's exactly like a child. A child will not go to sleep. It is full of energy. So mother has a technique of putting a child to sleep. What they do? Place a child on the lap and they start singing a lullaby. Start singing. What is lullaby, sir? It's not full song. She will not sing the entire song. She will go on repeating the same line of the song again and again and again and again and again. The child gets so bored. And what happens? It goes off to sleep. And there is another reason also for the child going out to sleep. Why? So horrible singing is. Yes, it cannot move out also. It's so small. She has put it on the lap and you're stuck there. Now what to do? He says, I'll fall off to sleep. That when you repeat the same thing again and again and again, and you would find that happening for people who travel on the train. You get a fantastic sleep in the train. Why? That same sound, kata, 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 kata. Same sound keeps coming again and again and again. It's that repetition, wherever there is a repetition, natural effect is what? It gets mechanical, bored, sleep off. Since the modern life is so exciting, we are not able to get to that relaxed state of sleeping. So in there, when you are introduced to meditation, what happens? You sit and keep observing your breath. How long? Keeps going and coming, going, coming, going, coming, going, coming, going, coming. And then after a point of time, what happens to you? You'll fall off to sleep. And after some time, you'll wake up. When you are waking up from that good sleep, how are you? Anytime you go to sleep and wake up, you are refreshed. And you say what? Meditation, I practiced. I was so agitated earlier. After the practice of meditation, I became so relaxed, stress buster, stress-free life. Now meditation has helped me to get rid of my stress. Now I'm feeling so fresh. It's true. You're not lying. It's not that it doesn't happen. Remember, Vedanta is not saying it will not happen. It does happen. But then there is a problem there. There is a problem. There is a difference between you having a normal, relaxed state, what I call as normal sleep, to relaxation that you experience in meditation. What I refer as meditational sleep, meditative sleep. Both are sleep only. Both are sleep. But then there is a difference. The problem is, since both are sleep, both have one thing common. What is common? You enter into it, you exit. When you are coming out of sleep, you are refreshed. You feel fresh. You are regenerated. That is the purpose of sleep. Sleep is given to the system to regenerate itself, repair itself, to rework, so that it can do. It's a fantastic mechanism. Nature's blessing, that is, to repair the system, repair all the organs. That happens only when you are resting. Same thing happens in this meditative sleep also. But then there is a difference between your normal sleep and this induced sleep. That induced sleep can be a sleep induced by some chemical, right? Like alcohol. You take alcohol, you go to sleep. After a particular quantum of alcohol you take to the body, you knocked off. Same way the drugs also you take. Some chemicals are there. Chloroform. You take, you inhale chloroform, what will happen? You take some, particular quantity. Once that particular quantity is hit, what happens? Off. This is drug-induced sleep. Meditation, there is no drug. This is non-chemical induced sleep. Nevertheless, it's not a natural sleep. It is a induced sleep. Now, what is the difference between this induced sleep, sir? In this induced sleep, non-chemical induced sleep, you will not even know that you were sleeping. At least when you take alcohol and go to sleep, when you wake up, you will remember, you will know, I was knocked off. In this, you will not even know that you are knocked off. See, that is that, meditative sleep. A lot of such experience you can have when you go to this music sessions, Harikathas, Ramayana, you go. Or you go to this Carnatic music concert, you go. You don't concentrate the entire concert. You see, you zone out. But when you zone out, you will not even know for how long you had zoned out, at what point you left and what point you entered. You will never know that. After you come out of the concert or after you come back from the lectures, if I ask, what had happened. You can narrate the entire thing. Why? You have heard Ramayana many a times. You see, since you know the story very well, wherever there is a gap, your old memories will come and fill those gaps. You see, it's not that you are hearing that story for the first time. You know the story many times. Since you know that story, all that must have happened is what? You zoned out at the time of Rama, called by the Dasharatha for coronation. Suddenly you came back in Aranyakanda. Rama is in Chitrakoot. Now, if a person has not known Ramayana, he will get totally confused. What is that? Why he is here now? How come this fellow, who's supposed to be the king, who suddenly I see him here? You will never have that problem. Why? You can fill in the gaps. You see, in that meditative sleep, the problem is the gap will fall, but you would never know there is a gap itself. You see, this is where the problem is. Why that, sir? Why this happens? Because there is a difference between normal sleep and this meditative sleep. There is a fundamental difference. In normal sleep, your buddhi still alert, alive. Your intellect is not completely switched off. How do you know, sir? Your inner systems are still alert. Best way to identify is, easiest one to prove this is, you see a mother sleeping next to a newborn, just few days, right? The mother is so tired, she'll be sleeping, half asleep, fully deep sleep she is. The child were to turn a little, you see, little turn in the child, she wakes up. You see, have you seen that? You should ask those ladies. All of them confirm that. They are fast asleep, and every mother has done this in the initial stages. Suddenly they'll wake up in the night and check whether the baby is breathing or not. You see? They check that. The father will never do that. The father, off means off. Even if the baby cries and kicking also, he will not wake up. That is a father. That's a different one. But mother is a very interesting, thing there. She'll wake up suddenly in the night and check whether it is breathing. Now, what is going to happen? In sleep also, she is not completely off. You see, there is that, little bit of that personality is still alert, alive. That what we call as that intellect, that rudimentary intellect is still functioning in that. That meditative sleep, the problem is the intellect goes to sleep, but you are not asleep. In normal sleep, what happens, sir? You are asleep, intellect is alert, alive. Intellect has not fallen off to sleep. The rudimentary intellect is still conscious, alert. Whereas in this sleep, the problem is your intellect will go off to sleep. You will not go to sleep. That is where you think there is a difference between meditative sleep and the sleep, sir. What is the difference? Your Your system is resting in normal sleep. Intellect, rudimentary intellect is alive. In meditative sleep, your intellect is completely shut. As a result of which, what happens? You won't even recognize that you were in sleep. Problem number one. Problem number two, when your intellect goes off, like in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, no, buddhi nashat pranashyati. The intellect goes means you are finished. Another big difficulty here is not you lose that time period or you fill in the gaps and all those things. The problem is intellect's essential operation is what? Discrimination. Right? When you are normal sleep, when you go to sleep and you wake up, your intellect is alert, alive. What is the proof? The proof is you are able to distinguish between the dream experience and the waking experience. Isn't it? You can say, that's a dream, sir. This is a waking experience. Your intellect is alert. That is why you are able to register a dream experience as a dream experience, a waking experience as a waking experience. They are two different experiences. And then you attribute reality to one and unreality to another. Right? That is a different next step. But the basic distinction you are able to make, which is a critical one, which is essential one. Otherwise, imagine you are not able to distinguish. When I came to Bangalore, we were having class, very early in one of our students' house here. His granddaughter was a great fan of Sonu Nigam. He was conducting, he was comparing that Sare Gama. It was a big one. So every Monday, the class would happen. And this Monday, after the class, the program will come. That Sunday, I think they had the program. Monday, she will give me the account of what all happened, this, that, and all those things. And suddenly one day, this girl came and told me, that child, she came and said, yesterday, he came to our house. Sonu Nigam came to our house. First, I thought that was true. Maybe they are, known people, so they would have invited him, or maybe he would have come to Bangalore, they would have invited him for lunch. They would have come also, who knows? We don't know. Maybe possible. And she was narrating the whole thing, for about 10 minutes she was narrating. Then the grandmother, after she went away, she just went to get something or the other. The grandmother told me, sir, he didn't come here and all that. I think she dreamt. So since morning, she has been telling everyone that. What is happening for her? See, the child could not distinguish between what I had was a dream, not a real experience. The child could not distinguish. Why? There is no intellect. That intellect absence puts us in a peculiar condition or a unique positioning we take where you cannot distinguish and fantasy, imaginary experience and a real experience. That is why all these people, when they come back to normal, they start explaining to you also. And you will also buy that idea because they speak with such conviction. It's like, see, I saw yesterday he came to our house, he had lunch with me, I had a conversation with him, I asked him to sing that song, he asked me to sing that song, I sang that song with him, and she goes to such details. As a girl child, So usually girl child, speak a lot and they go to details. Boy child won't, usually, the talking will not happen so early for them. Girl child, picks up language faster. Early they start talking and they talk a lot, and that never stops. They say, you know, they start early, they stop. No, no, they start early, never ending, sir. It goes on. And she was going, for about 10 minutes she was speaking. I can never forget. I was thoroughly convinced. Actually, he came. You know, almost, I was feeling jealous. You should have called me also, no? Know, because such a great, singer. When he comes, Ali would have had a chance of having, there was no selfie those days. We didn't know selfie, no? But at least after this child went away, this grandmother told me. I said, that's where I understood what is the problem of this meditation, meditative sleep. You're in normal sleep, your body goes to rest. Your intellect is alert. Okay. In meditative sleep, your intellect goes off. Whether body goes to rest or not is not our concern at all now. The critical point is the intellect goes off. That is why he says the first thing when he starts the discussion of meditation, first thing he introduces is intellect. Is if that intellect is not going to be alert, monitoring the whole process, you can never understand what is happening. But we also understand why it is becoming such a popular practice today. Why meditation is so popular, sir, today. Because barring you guys, except Swamiji or his disciples, no one is speaking, anti, as it were. It's not that we are anti or anything, please. The problem here is this. If your intellect goes off, then you can start creating illusions. You can create those dreams. You can create it. When you are creating those things, you would actually experience it. And when you're experiencing it, actually, it is exactly like what you had in your dream. How much validity you will give to your dream experience after waking up is the same validity you can afford to give to this meditative experiences. Nothing more, nothing less. But the problem is we have started attributing so many things to this meditative experiences. This happens, that happens, this. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm not saying they don't exist or it's all, all that is. To you, what is it is the point. You see, to you, is it true? Who is going to be defining that? Who is in you going to vouch for the validity of that experience? Is the buddhi, is the intellect. That intellect itself is asleep. And today we are not able to answer. Why? Because mind is so agitated. That agitated mind to put to sleep, what do you do, sir? Chant. Om, 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 Om. After a point of time, what will happen? That is why they give a particular method of doing chanting, wherein you don't get into this trap. You don't fall into this trap. See, so meditation today is such a popular one. At least before you go into the principle of meditation, you should understand why meditation is popular and why we need to understand where is the problem in that. Why it is popular? Because life is so exciting, we are not able to find rest. Wherever there is repetition, there will be rest. You will put off to rest automatic. Here it is what, sir? If you ask me, sir, is it which is better, drug induced or non-drug? I would prefer non-drug. Definitely. You know, you don't have to, wait only for the drug induced ones. Why is that? Drug induced has one danger. The danger of drug induced is what? Drug induced problem is what? When you are taking alcohol and go to sleep, there is one great danger is there. One risk is there. Particularly those who snore. If you are not snoring, there is no problem. If you are snoring, you better don't go to sleep with alcohol because you may not wake up. Isn't it? Because the brain has to trigger the system to wake up to breathe again. When you take alcohol, your brain goes to rest. Brain gets relaxed. Brain is knocked off. In the brain knocked off, it will not say, come on, man, oxygen is dropping, wake up. Who is supposed to, the whistleblower is the brain. That's why a lot of people you would see, you will hear, in the sleep itself, they are dead. They are in the sleep. Kuduthu vecha atma, sir. Such a nice fellow he must be. Very easy. All that you have to do is what? Heavy snoring and heavy drinking. You can. I'm not saying all those people are like that. You can. This is a medical thing. Same thing you put it for, instead of brain, you put it as intellect. It is intellect that is going to be. So you have to learn that. You have to understand why it is marketed so much, why it is bought so much, why there is a craze for meditation, and what is the strength of it and the weakness of it. What is the strength of it? It will put you to sleep. If you are seeking this, easiest one is simply meditate. Instantly you will feel relief. Correct, sir. Then why you are saying don't? Why you are insisting on pre-meditative preparations and all those things? The problem is you will go through certain experiences there and there is no way to find out the validity of that experience, and you will start believing in the reality of that experience, and then you are in trouble. Then what are you in the world? Imagine you come into the world and tell people that, today afternoon I had lunch with Michael Jackson. I invited him to, we both met in airport. I was just, going there. He also came and he saw me and said, "Hi, Ishwaran, you are such a great thing to see you, man. What are you doing here?" I said, "Hey, I should ask you, man. This is my place. You have come to Bangalore. I should ask you. You are asking me?" I will say, "Wow, man, let's catch up. Let's go for this." And then we came out and we went into that cafe coffee day. We were sitting there and chatting, and people were all, standing all around us, and everybody is wanting to take selfie with Michael Jackson. Since I was sitting next to him, they were taking selfie with me also, believing I also must be some celebrity. Somebody, doesn't matter, let's take, with him also. And it was such a talk of the town. And it came in all the papers and the news channels were all there, this, that. If I start talking like this, if you know the fact that Michael Jackson passed away years ago, some of you may not know, right? Some of you may still believe. In Tamil Nadu, even now, there are people who believe MGR is still alive. There is a group. They still believe he's still there. And I do remember, when this man, that ex-chief minister, passed away, they said, he's alive. What's the proof, We have to go. Actually, we did it. You know, we were so floored by that idea. He had a special wristwatch, and the wristwatch is ticking there in his samadhi. You go and place your ears. I don't know how many of you have done it. I have done it. Because in my house, I am the only one who is fan of MGR. Everyone in my house was fan of Shivaji Ganesan. Only I was a fan of MGR. Oh, I was so disturbed when he passed away. And I said, he's still there. The proof is, what? The clock is ticking. How the clock is designed? The clock is designed in such a way that it works only on his pulse. If the clock is ticking, that means what? He's still alive. Enga, ulla. Inside that, this one, I had been there, that old, not the new one, now they have changed it. Old one, actually I went and I placed my ears, and some of them claimed, they can hear it. What do you call those people? Is the same thing you have to call the person who comes out of this and says, I saw, I heard, I felt, this happened, that happened. And it is so interesting. You cannot distinguish between that and this. That's why he says the first book to be read is The Fall of Human Intellect. Yes, don't read Vedanta Treatise. First book is what you should read. He said, first read Fall of Human Intellect. Please understand the intellect has fallen. What is a fall? This is a fall, where this meditation is a craze, not without any reason. Don't think, without any reason it has become such a big hit in the world. No, there is a reason. What is the reason, sir? Life is so exciting now. In that excitement, we don't know how to relax. Therefore, relaxation techniques had become such a big relevance. And one of the best way to relax is repetition, because we have tasted it earlier in childhood. Mother singing or tapping, go on tapping the child, that same rhythm, keep on doing it. That mechanical one goes off. In meditation, you should repeat that mantra. This is the catch. You should repeat that mantra, and anything repetition will get into mechanical, it will knock off your intellect. You will go off to sleep. You should repeat the mantra, at the same time you should not go to sleep. That is the catch of meditation, for which you need a lot of pre-meditative preparations. He said that. Now he says, sir, what is the purpose of meditation? Purpose of meditation is to realize the self. What is realization? Realization means thoughtlessness. In meditation, what are you doing? You are entertaining a thought. How entertainment of a thought lead you to thoughtlessness? If entertainment of thought leading you to thoughtlessness, is it like knocking off, going to sleep? Is it like that? What is the idea? And that's what he's explaining here in this topic, principle of meditation. What is, there is a glaring contradiction. How that contradiction gets resolved? For which you need to go to the science, the principle behind it. What is the principle? He says, the principle underlying meditation is, as you think, so you become. Thinking is conscious thought force, not mere mental indulgence when your mind on its own flows towards an object. Instead, let your intellect set an objective, a goal in your life. Let it constantly channel your thought and effort towards goal. You shall gain your objective. The same principle works in the spiritual field. Set self-realization as your objective in life. Let your intellect shift the mind's focus from the world to the self within. Keep the mind steady in single-pointed meditation upon the self. You then become the self. You attain the state of self-realization. So the principle he says is this. The principle of meditation is, as you think, so you become. This is the basic principle of meditation. Whatever you keep thinking, that is what you become. Now, you have been constantly thinking that I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect. I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. So you believe yourself to be this body, you believe yourself to be this mind, you believe yourself to be this thought, intellect. I am that thinking, I am that idea. Me and my idea are one and the same. I think, therefore I am. Yes, no, what is that? Intellect. I am that intellect. So, how did you get into that? Your individuality was created by your constant thinking. Now he says, same method is used. What? Constantly create this thought of I am that supreme self. I am that supreme self. What will happen? You become the supreme self. That is the principle. So here, what are you doing in meditation is a principle. Then that he is explaining in the next paragraph. Realization of the self is defined as desirelessness, thoughtlessness. If that be so, how can the thought of self in meditation bring about the state of thoughtlessness? It seems paradoxical, but it works in actual practice. When you hold the mind focus in single-pointed concentration upon a mantra, word symbol, the thought ultimately dissolves into silence, into the enlightened state of thoughtlessness. Shankaracharya explains this phenomena in his text Atmabodha by the simile of purifying water with a cleansing agent known as Kataka nut powder. The powder acts in the same way as alum does for cleansing water of its impurities. The powder is sprinkled on the surface of the impure water. It forms a slimy film on top. Fine particles of suspended impurities stick to the bottom of the film. The film becomes heavier. It goes down gradually. More impurities stick to it. In the process, all the impurities settle down to the bottom along with the film. The significant part of the process is that the cleansing agent itself settles down along with the impurities. Pure water stands above it. So it is with the process of meditation. The divine self is polluted with thoughts. The thought of the mantra displaces all other thoughts and itself disappears in the heat of meditation, exposing the supreme self that lies beyond thought. The classic example, you know, this is the beauty of the scriptures. They give such a simple example, practical day-to-day things. Now, Katakanat powder is a practical day-to-day one during Shankara's period. Why? Because those days there is no aqua guard, this one and all was there. The water purifier now wasn't there. So if they want to purify water, how do they purify in the well or in the pond and all that, in the bucket, in the house they'll keep, The drum, they take that water and keep. Now, how do you clean that? In the well also, you have to take that water. How do you clean? Say, they sprinkle the powder. The moment that powder comes in contact with water, it gets sticky and it forms a sort of a film, surface. And all that smaller impurities, suspended in the water stick to it. So once they stick, that film gets heavier. When it gets heavier, it starts sinking. And it gets heavier so slow. All that impurities stick, everything settled. Same way he says, mantra, no doubt, is like this, but it settles by itself. Along with the other impurities, this also goes away. So same way he says, how? Because when you are starting this meditation process, in the practice of that, what does a student do? The seeker does is he starts the chanting of the mantra. Initially, the focus is on the chant. Om, 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 Om. For example, I'm saying, because in the text he is taking that symbol Om, mantra Om. So we are taking that same thing to explain also. You take a mantra and keep on repeating that same mantra, same thought, Om, 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 Om. Gradually, what happens is you initially consciously shift your attention towards the silence that is between two chants. See, between two chants, there is such silence. Initially, the focus is on the chant. Eventually, it goes into silence. In the early stages of practice, consciously he will start focusing on that. Over a period of time, eventually the thought focus shifts from the chant to silence. Why? Essential principle is what? Your natural state is bliss. Your natural state is happiness. Therefore, you seek happiness all the time. Whatever you do in life, whatever you avoid doing in life, everything is driven by that single motive of pleasure, joy, happiness, bliss, fulfillment, satisfaction. Whatever words you have, few more, you can add all that. Anything you do or avoid doing, both are done only for that idea. So now in this state, for this person, there are only two things existing. One is the chant, sound Om. Another one is silence. In comparison to all other thoughts, the thought of Om is more pleasure. Okay. This is far more blissful. Chanting that mantra is a bliss in comparison to all other thoughts. So, automatically this shift is on the chant. Eventually, the mind starts tasting that silence happening between the two chants. That silence is more blissful than the chant. Going by the fundamental rule that we will focus only on anything that gives us joy. Where is the focus now? Slowly the focus goes into that silence. Silence, silence, silence. But then because of that earlier pressure, the next chant will come. Anyway, it's not that you are going to stop the chant, permanently. It's not like that. Because of that pressure of vasana, that thought will pop up again. Om will pop up again. You will chant again Om, disturbing the silence. Over a period of time, you would start experiencing, feeling, chanting Om is a disturbance. You go through the same rule for breathing. If you go into the deep state of meditation, breathing in and breathing out is a disturbance. What you do now? You don't do both. You will stop both actually. You see? But what will happen? You can't do that beyond a point. Maybe you can be in that state of, kumbhaka or whatever they call, holding the breath. You take the breath in and hold the breath for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. After that, what you will do? The pressure will make you to breathe out. And then you breathe out. Again, you don't do anything. You keep quiet. How long? You cannot. Somewhere down the line, what you will do again, sir? Breathe in. You breathe in and you breathe out. You breathe in and breathe out. The duration can be changed, which may be good for your lungs capacity, which is good to fight against corona. Build your lung capacity, which is helpful, correct. But then, for that person, the focus is not fighting against corona. The problem is what? The thought becomes a disturbance to him. Then what happens? He gets stuck in that silence. Can you call it a silence, sir? Not possible. So, we have to use some word. Therefore, we are strictly, because initially that silence that you experience between two chant, Om, silence, Om, silence, Om, silence, Om, silence. That contrast is there. You see? Now, slowly you start elongating the silence period. Elongated the silence period. Elongated the silence period. A stage comes where you just dissolve in that silence. You never come out of it. That state is what is referred as the state of thoughtlessness. Chimayananda gives this beautifully. Last thought thoughted. Yes. No new thought thoughting. Yeah. He says, don't worry about grammar. I say, correct, sir. How can you explain that? You see, that state of silence cannot be explained. Why? By definition, it is thoughtless. Any explanation, any discussion belongs to the realm of thought. Therefore, what? It is beyond. All thoughts emanate with what? The foundation of all thoughts. The unit, sound. Now, you have crossed the sound itself. The chant itself you have crossed. When you cross the chant itself, what is going to happen? Too much of confusion. All that he says is, how does how is it going to be, focusing, sir? Nothing. It's exactly like in a room, right now in your room, look around. Don't keep on looking. There are people who are constantly doing that anyway, in the class. Just look around. How many things you see? Make a list. Right? When you make a list of all the things that you see, there is a bookshelf I'm seeing, there is a cupboard there is a window, there is this, there is a chair, there is a computer, there is this, that. All that you keep writing. Okay. one thing you will miss is the light. What all you are seeing, and I said, all of you would have thought of so many things, but you would have missed the light. So, what is that? Whatever you are seeing is seen because of the light that is illuminating it. Isn't it? Now, what the spiritual disciplines do is they remove one by one all the furnitures, taken out, taken out, taken out, taken out, taken out. When you take out all those things from the room, what is there now? What is there now? Empty rooms, sir. Like how, apartment people give your apartment. Walls, that's all. Flooring, ceiling, wall. That's all you will get. When you are buying an apartment, you get that. And then you have to fill in all those things. Empty room. Now, is it really empty? It's full of light. When the furnitures are more, when the gadgets are more, when the objects are more, the possibility for you to get involved in that objects is more and miss the light. When you remove those things, slowly, there is a possibility of you to recognize that light. But then there is one danger. What is it, sir? You may get involved in that emptiness of the room and still miss the light. You see, you can still miss the light. The light that illuminating all that is seen by you. Meditation, what it does, sir, it removes all the thoughts. The thought, so many thoughts. In that quagmire of thoughts, you're lost. In the spiritual practices, what are we doing? Through the practice of karma, bhakti, jnana, and all that, you remove bulk of thoughts. All the heavy things are all taken out. Bigger items are all taken out first. And then what you do? Even the small things that is there, that was also taken out by meditation. Now what you will see? What will you see now? Don't say, I see thoughtless. Don't say, I see an empty room. No. A room full of light. Now the argument is, sir, when the gadgets were all there inside the house, is the light any less? No. The presence of the furnitures or absence of the furnitures has no say in the matter of light. Light is independent and intact. But the problem is, you cannot recognize light with objects. Therefore, what we do, remove the objects. Then there is a possibility for you to see the light. But light is there already. Same rule here. I have told you for light and objects. What you have to do? Apply the same thing to thoughts and self. Right? You do that. This is the principle. How meditation takes you to that realization and thoughtlessness. Thoughtlessness in the sense, removing all the thoughts. That doesn't mean that is going to give you peace. After removing all the thoughts, what remains is the pure consciousness. But you can recognize that pure consciousness only after removing it. Before that, you cannot. Before that, it is impossible. In the example, you can say, sir, I can see the light. You see, this is where people get lost by examples. In the example, you can recognize the light with the objects also. But when it comes to the idea of recognizing the self, It is how in meditation alone, you have to stay with that entertainment of a single thought for a long period of time. And then start cherishing that maintenance of that same thought for a long period of time. Then you would start recognizing the presence of silence that is happening between the two chant. Then you start enjoying that silence. Then you drop the chant. Then you drop the thought. That is what is referred as thoughtless state. Self-realization is defined as a thoughtless state. How? You are created by this thought. You reach to the thoughtless state. It gives you what remains is a silence, we say. In comparison to the sound, we call it as silence. Right? In different contexts, we use different things. Here in the seat of meditation, since you are making the sound om, 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 contrast to that, we use the word silence. But don't take it as our side, what we understand as silence. Being quiet. We don't even know what is that, right? We have no idea. What is the final silence wherein you are merged? That silence and the silence that we experience between two chants. Is it the same silence, sir? No clue we have. That part of it is not known to us. But how we can define something is only with what we can recognize, what we can understand, what we can connect to. What we can connect to is thoughts. So, with reference to thoughts, the state of realization is defined as thoughtlessness. How meditation takes you to the thoughtless state? This is how it takes you to the thoughtless state. So once you put in, it's like, meditation is like falling off to sleep. You put in effort to sleep, put in effort to sleep, put in effort to sleep, effort to sleep. When the last effort ends, only then you fall off to sleep. Otherwise you don't, isn't it? Like this fellow Mullah Nasruddin had a peculiar habit. A lot of ladies have that habit also. If they want to do something very important thing, they put a knot. They'll put a knot in the end of the sari. They'll put a knot and keep. So when they see the knot, they understand, okay, this is the job I have to do. And this fellow also had put a knot in his dhoti. Right? And he was trying to remember for what he forgot, for what he had put the knot. And he knows, unless it is such an important thing, he wouldn't have put the knot. So he went on, on and on and on. And he was asking his wife, hey, tell me what all I told you from morning. I had to do this. Something I wanted to complete today, without which, I should not, I cannot. Something very important is there. What all I said. And then she narrated the whole thing. And then he said, no, not this, not this, not this, not this, not this. Something important. And, that lady said, look here, you can't remember, forget it. I'm going to sleep. And she went off. And this fellow is, walking up and down, in the hall. What did I say? What did I? And then, 11:30, he woke her up. Hey, tell me again what all I have wanted to do. She got so annoyed. But what to do? The husband. So, he said, this is what he said, half asleep, he said this. He said, think, man. And then 12, night, early morning maybe, it is around 3 o'clock he remembered why he had put the knot. I should go to sleep early because tomorrow I have an important job to do. That is the thing he wanted to do. And he remembered that at 3 o'clock in the morning. How do you go to sleep? You got to prepare, right? You have to prepare your, bed. You have to prepare this. You have to go, wash your, feet, brush, prepare. All this is preparation to go to sleep. But then, how do you actually go to sleep? When all your efforts to sleep, you drop. That is the time you go to sleep. Same way. How do you get into this now? All that effort you have to do. And then what is happening? You drop that. And how this works. And such a fascinating example he gives. Kataka nut powder. How can this take to that, sir? He says like that. This is also a thought. This is also an impurity. The kataka nut powder that you are sprinkling to the water is another impurity. But this impurity removes that. Similarly, this thought of the self is also a thought. The thought of that mantra is also a thought. But this thought has a peculiar nature of displacing all other thoughts. In the process, this thought also dissolves, displaces other things, and this also dissolves. Thereby, you reach that state of Supreme Self. You go beyond thought. This is the principle of meditation. Right. Next one is a very significant topic. Om. You'll see that. And there's an announcement. Today is Tuesday. Thursday, we are not having the class. Okay. And next Tuesday, also, we are not having the class. So, 2 classes break for you all. Right. And Vasudhara is so happy. She says, Chutti, appa. She says, okay. This is the problem of coming in the front page. The front bench like that, in this Zoom also, front page is a problem if you come there. Now, Sunday Gita class, we should be having. I'm not sure because I'm planning to travel. So if I can travel, if they allow me to go, I will go, or else I have to come back. If I come back, we may have the class. So if the travel happens tomorrow, then no class. So keep your fingers crossed. Pray to travel or pray to not to travel. So let's see whose prayers are very strong. Okay. So 2 classes we are not having. As of now, the travel plans are on. So 2 classes we don't have. This week and the coming, Tuesday also. Subsequently, we will have the class. The Sunday morning class we can have. We should be able to, because by then I would have come to Chennai. So in Chennai we can have, Sunday morning I'll be in Chennai. So there, net facilities will be there. So we can have. Going to my village. So there's no chance of having, internet facilities and all that. So no class. That is the reason. Okay. So I'll see you then after we come back. So take a break for you.